Hello, my name is Josh, and I'm a watchaholic. Welcome to Horology Insanity.
What is up, my watch friends? So check this out. We are continuing a little mini series I'm going to do about this amazing 5610BA, aka my absolute favorite all-time watch. As I've mentioned in the Random Rob collab video and in my video prior to this is my absolute number one all-time favorite watch. When I can't figure out what I want to wear, this is what gets put on my wrist. It's just amazing. And when it's on there, I kind of don't want to take it off, which is crazy because I got so many watches. You know, there are days where I rotate out. I might put on 3, 4, 5 watches a day, just swapping them out because I've got so many watches that to give them even the smallest little bit of wrist time, I've got to churn them. I've got to do more. But the problem is I end up putting on this 5610BA and I never want to take it off. I don't. It's just amazing. If you have not seen my not a review video of that, then we'll just link that right up here and you can check that out. But what I want to do in this video is show a bunch of side-by-side comparisons of this watch to a bunch of other G squares. And I want to talk about some of the similarities and differences and where some of those differences make me appreciate this beautiful blue square all the more. All right, so let's get it started. The first thing I want to compare it to is a couple of these negative display. Now this negative display on the left, this is a 5600, I believe. And you can see it's a little bit simpler. It doesn't have all the stuff on the dial. And I kind of appreciate that. I wish that my blue one here didn't necessarily have everything on the dial the way that Casio is known for doing. But a lot of companies will put a ton of information like on the case back, which Casio does that too. But yeah, they just brand it right here on the face of it so you can see it. And part of me appreciates this 5610 because it's a little bit cleaner. It's a little bit sleeker. I've got another one over here. This is a mod that I do, but you see how that's just, it's clean. And so I enjoy that maybe a little bit more than I do with the busyness of this blue one. And so that would be one of the minor improvements I would do to this one over here. And I should go ahead and warn you, there are not many. This one right here is my favorite for many good reasons. But, so this is just a quick comparison. You see this one has the V2 combi over here on the left. This is the V1 combi. There is a video early on in my channel where I compared all of these combi bracelets and the AliExpress combi, and I talk about them in depth. Go check that out if you're curious about these bracelets or you want to see about getting one. They fit the 5600, the 5610. They fit a couple of others. They fit the GA-2100 with a little bit of wiggle, but they're still usable on there. So yeah, lots of options for those. And hopefully one of these days soon, I will have an update, like a long-term use video of these combi bracelets. So hopefully I can get that done here soon. So anyway, that's the first one I want to show you, was just a 5600. This is the all black 5610. And you'll notice that these are very similar watches, except for the fact that on the right, it has the bluish positive display, and then it's got the blue accents. But other than that, let me take a look at them real quick. I'm pretty sure they both have the same module. Let's see if we can get zoomed in. 3159. This is the GW-M5610BA. And then this one here is going to be the exact same thing. 3159, except for the model number ends in BA instead of BC. And so this model right here also came on the V1 combi. And let me zoom out real quick, because one thing that I just have learned is that the V1 combi for me and my wrist size is where it's at. The V2, I'm in between links, and so I can't really use the V2 except for on a couple of different and more specific G-Shock models. So the V1 for me is where it's at. It just so happens that the AliExpress kind of copy of these is a copy of the V1, so I can also use the AliExpress ones pretty well. And even though they are a little bit cheaper, specifically in the clasp, but this is where it's at for me. And again, as I talked about in my other videos, for me, that's what makes these watches so great. The watch heads in and of themselves, I mean, they're G-Shocks, right? So if you've had a G-Shock, you kind of know what I'm talking about. And if you haven't experienced a G-Shock, oh, I highly recommend that you get one. Anyway, these watches are about the exact same thing, except for the difference in the accent colors and the positive negative display. But you can see that with the legibility being a little bit more difficult with this one on the left, the one on the right just stands out. I can glance down at this and easily tell the time, to where every now and then with this, it's a little difficult. I do like the auto light feature on this, because if it's dark, so we're really frugal, right? Like, we're the type of people that only have one lamp on in a room at any given time. So when it's a little dark, the auto light pops on, and then this thing is immediately legible with the auto light on. But as you can see here, it's not just coming across this way on camera. It really does look like that in real life. It's a little difficult to see, especially when you compare it to this. So that was what I wanted to do. Now, in some of the other ones, this one I think is just fun. I want to compare it with the simplicity of it, but I also really like the blue, and this is the Great Wave of Kanagawa kit. And so one of the fun things that you can do with these different watches, you can get kits like this, whether they be these kind of rubber OEM style kits. They make them both OEM and aftermarket. This one, of course, is an aftermarket. Check eBay. There's a couple of, I think this one came from Custom Gorillas. You usually have to get them for the specific size, whether you have a 5600 or a 5610. Like this one here is a 5600 and this one here is a 5610. They do not fit each other. But I did learn that the GLX 5600 does fit a 5610 case. So there's a little bit of mixing and matching that you can do there depending on the model. But for the most part, try to buy whatever the specific model number you have is, most specifically either a 5600 or a 5610, or in the case of these, the 5000. Okay, so that's my little tidbit there for that. But with this one, I just kind of wanted to show the simplicity of this one on the left, along with its blue accents that I really, really like compared to this one on the right. But the one on the left doesn't have solar. And one of the reasons that I love this one so much is because it does have solar, and I never, ever have to worry about it. Other than maybe every now and then I'll take my G's and I'll throw them up in the blinds in the window just to get some sun, knowing them to get a little low. But for the most part, you just wear it and it'll kind of do its own thing. Now, the other ones that I wanted to compare to, because noticing the difference between this blue display and the regular positive display, which we've got here, and the difference of the negative displays we have here, G-Shock makes other colorways, and seeing this blue one is what got me thinking about that, and I wondered what all colorways were out there. I was able to pick up one of these from my buddy. And I was also able to give one of these to my other buddy, the other Josh. It was his housewarming gift. It usually comes in an all black band and bezel kit. So this is an aftermarket band and bezel kit. But you can see the red display there compared to the blue, and just kind of the differences that it has and the difference that it gives the overall aesthetic of the watch, which is interesting. I thought that was pretty cool. The other one that I just recently picked up, and I got it from a friend on Facebook, let's see if I can get the light on that, is this purple one. Let's see here. It's a little bit easier to read in person than what you're seeing on camera, but you can see that it's got this beautiful purple dial, purple display. I think it's solar, but even the solar panel is kind of purplish. And so you've got that. Let's see if we can see on the back here what model this is. GLS 5600L, and it's got the 3178 module in it. So it's got a slightly different module, and you can see the differences. But yeah, this one here, this purple, is new to me. I'm pretty sure this is not the factory band and bezel for this. I think this is an aftermarket one that he had put it in, but I was glad to pick it up. The purple struck me. It stood out to me, and so I wanted to grab it. Now, the other one that y'all are going to know is an absolute favorite of mine is the blue titanium camo G-Square. Now, these two watches, though, are in a completely different category. I want to say this one here, MSRP is like, I don't know, $150, $200, something like that. This one, MSRP, is like $1,700. So there's a big difference in between these two watches. But I do think that if I ever wanted to, I could almost create a little 2-watch collection out of these two. I'd have the titanium, I'd have the combi bracelet. This could be kind of my daily beater. This would be for more elegant situations. Well, I would say elegant because I would wear this with a suit, and some of y'all are going to get freaked out by that. I would totally wear this like to a wedding or something like that. Oh yeah, I would have no qualms about that whatsoever. But you could see it also would give me both the positive and the negative displays. It would give me my overall theme of blue, which I adore. I don't know. Tell me what you think. Do you think this could make its own 2-watch collection? Because sometimes I wonder if it could. And if I were to ever pare down, that might do the trick. Now, the last thing I'm going to talk about, and this is going to be really hard for me to show you on camera. This is the 5000 series stainless steel Casio. Now, of course, I have others of these I've got the Shkami Shock. I have a Sanda version of a Shkami Shock. I've got AliExpress kits with these. This one here is the OEM, it's the regular, and one of the things that I adore most about this stainless steel watch is the fact that the light on it, the backlight, it glows in a very ice blue type of color. And it's absolutely brilliant in my opinion. It's so beautiful. And in fact, I tend to only wear this one at night with the auto light feature on because I want to see the cool blue effect. And so I'm going to turn off the lights. This never works well when I try to get these things to light up on camera. It's going to be a little blurry, but what I'm trying to convey in this overall sentiment is that this one, right, the 5610BA, it looks better without the lights on. So I love the fact that it's got this blue hue to it. It looks blue in person, even though it's kind of a positive display. And I really, really like this right here. This one is a standard display, and you can see it doesn't have a blue hue to it. I wish that this BA model would light up in the same ice blue that this does. That would make this BA all the more for me. So let me just cut the lights real quick. But let's see if I can get these to light up. And you see, oh, the left one stays on longer. Maybe I got to check the settings on these. Oh, I think the one on the right doesn't have an option for how long you can keep them on. But let's see if I can get them to do it. Okay. The one on the left glows in this beautiful ice blue white, like a cool blue shade of white. And the right one, my favorite watch, glows green. Kind of what you would think of a normal display watch. And so, yeah, that would be my takeaway. Get this ice blue on my favorite watch and extend the duration of it. Give it a 2-second, 4-second counter like a lot of the other ones do. I think the GA-2100s. Oh, wow. Sorry. That's bright. I should have probably warned y'all before I turn the lights back on. But this 5610 right here, it needs a counter. The GA-2100 has like a 1 and 3 second option, but most of these, like this one here, I think has a 2 and 4 second option. I always use the longer option. So I use the 3 second on the Casio and I use the 4 second on this. This one, to my knowledge, doesn't have an option. It just has the option to turn auto light on and off, but it doesn't give me a duration option. And so that would be a con, in my opinion. I would love for this one right here to both glow for 4 seconds and glow in this beautiful shade of cool blue white that the stainless steel one does. So you can't say that I'm not objective in my opinions, because this is my all-time favorite stunner of a watch. And, you know, there are still things that I would change about it if I could. So with that one, we'll call this one to a wraps. Keep an eye out on the future videos. I'm going to have combi update videos. I've got to do that negative display comparison video. I've got watches coming out of my ears, y'all. I'm not even kidding. I've got a stack of Zen watches that I've got to do, and I've got to compare. They're all the different Zen 104s. And so we'll see that coming up soon. I've got a bunch of loaner watches in from friends. Of course, y'all know that I'm a Zelos addict, and getting ready to come to the channel is going to be both the Hammerhead 3, which I'm borrowing from a buddy of mine. We'll link down to his channel, Jonathan T Reviews. Highly recommend my buddy Jonathan's channel, so please go check that out. But we've got the Hammerhead that I'm going to be taking a look at and doing some comparisons with. And I want to do an in-depth video on the Zelos Nova. For whatever reason, I feel like in the Zelos community, the Nova is kind of underappreciated. And from those of us who have it, we kind of know. We're like, oh no, this is amazing. Like, this is such a brilliant watch. But it's not a dive watch. It is small compared to most Zelos watches. And so for whatever reason, it just is a little underappreciated. And it's one of the few Zelos that is not sold out, at least not all the variants. There's a couple of variants that are sold out. But for the most part, I think because of the underappreciation, they've not yet sold out. And so I happen to have my hands on almost every variant. I think the only one I might not have is the Aventurine, but I've got other Aventurine watches that I can compare it to. So keep an eye on that. We're going to have all the Zelos Novas lined up side by side. I want to talk about them. I want to look at them in depth. And so that'll be coming soon too. So like normal, I try not to ask, but go ahead and subscribe, hit that notification bell, and you can keep following along with the channel. But until we talk again, my friends, please remember what really matters, and that's not watches. Keep the insanity sane.